Today, I'm gonna show you the absolute easiest way to create beautiful backyard hillside steps that absolutely anyone can do. No fancy tools needed, no expert skills needed. Today is gonna be the day that you're gonna learn the easiest and coolest way to make the beautiful backyard steps. Oh shit. We are now cooking with gasoline. Where the hell did my other steak go? This is an easy project, remember? So if you've been putting off this landscaping project, today's the day. Let's get into it. All right, in order to figure out how many steps you're gonna need, how long of a space you're working with, it's simple. There's a lot of stair calculators. Just type that into Google or ChatGPT. But in our situation, we're working with a 9-foot height, which is the total rise. And we entered what the steps will be. Minimum is 10 inches, and you can make them as much as you want, depending on how much space you're working with. Entered all our information in, and that tells us that our total run here is roughly 17 feet. But we need a landing here first in order to start our steps. That's what is the base of the entire step itself. I'm gonna have to get a little bit of elbow grease in here, break some of this old dirt apart, get a nice clean flat spot, and then we can start talking about building that landing. Let's get into it. Put it in that sweat equity, you know what I mean? You could take that to the bank. This looks like a solid base to work with in a little 48 by 48 section and looking good. We know one thing's for sure, there's gonna be a ton of water here, there's gonna be a ton of weeds, so we're gonna prevent some of those things. This is a weed barrier, we're gonna run it from the top all the way down, and that will keep any uninvited plants from coming through. Told you, so far this is pretty dang easy. It's basically a craft. Now I don't wanna get too carried away with this weed barrier because God knows what's gonna happen over there. I'm gonna probably have to move a little bit of dirt to make sure everything clears. So I'm gonna put the stakes in here because this is gonna be a walking path, roll it up, keep it only stapled as we go, just in case we need to fold something back, move some dirt around, put it back in place. Just thinking ahead. Don't want to be caught with your pants down in a corner again. Oh shit. Harry, I've reached the top.
Harry, I've reached the top!
All right, we're working with very basic material. This is a 4x6 pressure treated lumber. Pressure treated just means that it has all the stuff injected inside of it to make sure that it withstands any kind of rot that would happen over the years. We're gonna just make a nice little C here. We're gonna secure them from the front just using lag bolts. These are about 6-inch lag bolts. It'll go all the way through, hold them two together. We're gonna put the base down first, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do next. She's a big old girl. Fun fact, pressure treated lumber weighs more when it's wet, less when it's dry. We gotta make sure the sucker is leveled. This is your base. This is your foundation. This is your chi, your chakra. We gotta make sure everything is leveled because going forward, if this is out of whack, the rest of our steps will be out of whack. You guys ready to see some movie magic? Check this out. Dang, that's leveled. Oh, so is that. What, and that all just with shoveling? I made sure to do a test fit before I showed you guys this on camera. Not my first rodeo, not making a fool of myself. Yet. There's gonna be plenty of time for that. Oh look, I found my safety glasses. Thanks, Ben. 2 24s, 148. If you buy 8-foot sticks, it'll be exactly the right amount to do one step. One stick is roughly around $30. So you can do your own math calculation of if you need 5 or you need 20 like us. We are now cooking with gasoline. Make sure, this is in hindsight, get yourself a string. Though you can eyeball it, the last thing you want to do is be done with your steps, look up from the bottom of the hill, and they're just going sideways. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. And that's just to see your rough direction. The real alignment is going to happen here. As long as it sits on top of this bottom piece and it's straight and flush with it, you're good to go, brother. This is the fun part. We're gonna use an auger bit, basically a long ass bit, 1/2 inch. And then you're gonna buy from Home Depot, pre-cut already, 2-foot pieces of 1/2 inch rebar. We're gonna drive them, I don't know, I'll call it maybe 12 inches off this edge. And what's gonna do is it's gonna tie each step to the previous step going forward. And then when it punches out towards the ground, it's gonna go into the ground, keeping this thing from sliding out. God, that would be annoying if this thing ever slid out because of like a mudslide or something. That'd make it for a killer thumbnail though. I could never be a blacksmith. My arthritis would kick in. Where the hell did my other steak go? Of course, it's right here, where I put it, always. I promise going forward it's gonna be a lot easier. That one gave me some trouble because the stake also hit the very bottom landing. That's what was so hard. I gotta catch my breath, man. Don't show people your weakness. This is an easy project, remember? Boom, baby. Here's something you gotta be watching out for as you're going forward. We know that this is all gonna be leveled side to side as we did with the base, but however, there's still plenty of rooms to screw up. When you put your top piece on, make sure that the back end is not lifted whatsoever, whether it's a rock or dirt or anything, because it'll jack up and there's no course correcting the further we go. So make sure it's laying nice and flat on the previous piece. And if that's the case on both sides, you should be good to go. But the good thing is with this method, with only making a C, if you do need to move some dirt around, you're not breaking your back excavating. You just have to carve out this little section and you're back in business, baby. Onward and forward. Too short. I should have stayed in school. I'd rather be doing that than this right now. Although these are gonna look sick when they're done. I guarantee it. All right, we've been at this for almost 4 hours now. We got 10 steps banged out. Very easy, very straightforward, design-wise, build-wise. Labor-intensive for sure. Swinging the hammer, throwing a shovel around. Not my ideal Saturday, if you ask me. So fellas, if your wife or significant other sent this video to you, my bad, dude. My bad. Got 13 steps in. I think I need 5 more. I do. I just think we're almost right here, about 36 inches of height left to cover. And in fact, the way I'm gonna operate it is run about the 4 to 5 more steps and then make another landing here. So it's like a bigger pad. So you're not walking on mud or dirt. You're just standing on solid ground. I need a beer and a back massage. See you guys tomorrow. Next day, back for round 2. We are going to finish this today. I'm sure it's gonna be about a half a day's worth of work. We're almost there. These steps are gonna look killer. A couple of more up here, build our platform, and we should be looking good. I hate how murderers in movies are portrayed digging holes, and they seem fine, not winded, barely glistening, glowing, I would say. And they can do it in like, I don't know, 10 minutes. That's what I hate about Hollywood, man. They lie to us about using shovels. And here comes the cherry on top. This is gonna be our platform landing on top. We got a platform landing on the bottom. That way you can come up here, get stabilized, know where we are, get familiar with the area, and then start walking down. I'm gonna drill my holes, throw my stakes in, and then I'm gonna need to bevel all this stuff so it's sloped appropriately for this. All right, we're ready for gravel. What I have here is 3/8 aggregate. And the reason it's an aggregate because the corners are sharp and it's a type of rock, I guess. As opposed to pea gravel, which is more round. The reason we're going with this stuff is those aggressive corners, the aggregate itself, they can compress a lot better and they don't move around as much as pea gravel does. But we do have a solution to not only enhance this, but also pea gravel if you want to go with it, to make sure it stabilizes and doesn't start moving all over the place on our steps. So my strategy here to save my back is I rented a mini skid steer from Tate's Rents for the day. We have a big dump load of this aggregate at top that they delivered already. So I'm just gonna start just pouring it down with the hopes that it goes underneath one another and then trickles all the way down. I'm a little concerned about the top 3 maybe steps because they have the soil coming to the top, but we'll throw some shovels around for that. Fortunately for us, we got gravity working in our favor, but we'll see for how long. So the steeper it is up top, the harder it is for the rock to flow down. But once we get down below here, it's a freaking geyser. Unfortunately, no easy way at this point, just throwing some shovels around. However, I do have this theory, if we bought, maybe planned ahead, some OSB, just kind of made a small ramp and have the furthest point run down on that OSB and then kind of move it up. But you know, hindsight 2020, right? All right, we got everything spread. It's looking awesome already, but here's the kicker. Well, that pun intended. As you're gonna be walking up, some people might kick the rocks to the side. So what I'm gonna do first is tamp it down a few times just to compress the aggregate, get all the sharp edges pressed together, and then we're gonna figure out a way how to stabilize it. And fun fact, that's my first time trying to attempt to stabilize little pea gravel aggregate. So we'll both learn together. What I have here is a mulch glue. This was recommended to me by a lot of people in a previous Instagram reel that I did. I got this at the local hardware store. You can also buy it online on Amazon. All the directions say is it has to be at least 50 degrees, no colder, or else it doesn't work as properly. Second thing it says is do not dilute it, just put it straight into a sprayer and spray. And the third thing it says is sometimes it takes between 2 and 3 coats depending on the things you're applying. For example, actively walking path area or high traffic area, you're probably gonna do 3 coats. And that's what I'm gonna assume with. I'm gonna throw it with my sprayer, try to do even coats, but it also says you need about 6 hours between coats. So we'll see what the first day looks like, second day and third day, and we'll go from there. It is the next day. We had our mulch glue finally dried up after 3 coats of the mulch spray. It is perfect. We got a few little scramblers on top, but everything in general, it's just there. I mean, it's not moving anywhere. I'm a huge fan of this. The steps came out incredible. The grand total for this project was $1,132. It included all the lumber, all the gravel, all the weed barrier, everything you see, plus the actual stakes to get all the stuff into the ground. It was a quick little weekend project and I couldn't be more excited about it. But the big question is, what should we build next?